The observation deck of Harmony Station stretched before Ambassador Marcus Webb like a cathedral of stars. Through the transparent aluminum viewports, a dozen different alien vessels hung in the void, their designs as varied as the species that built them. Some resembled crystalline formations, others flowed like liquid metal frozen mid-dance. Marcus straightened his formal diplomatic jacket, the weight of humanity's hopes pressing against his shoulders. "Remember, Ambassador," his aide, Tom Baker, whispered beside him, "they've been watching us for centuries. Every word matters." Marcus nodded, watching as the delegation from the Galactic Council filed into the Grand Chamber. The Viridian representatives towered above the others, their bark-like skin gleaming under the station's artificial light. The crystalline collective moved with mechanical precision, their faceted bodies refracting rainbow patterns across the walls. At the center sat the Council Prime, a being whose species Marcus had studied for months, but still couldn't fully comprehend. "Humans of Earth," the Prime's voice resonated through universal translators, carrying undertones that made Marcus's teeth ache. "You have requested membership in our ancient alliance. State your case." Marcus stepped forward, years of preparation guiding his movements. "Honored Council, humanity brings unique perspectives to your collective wisdom. We offer innovation, adaptability, and an unbreakable spirit of cooperation." Murmurs rippled through the assembled delegates. The Viridians exchanged what might have been laughter or contempt. A representative from the Dominion Alliance, the militant faction that controlled 12 star systems, rose from his position. "Cooperation?" The Dominion speaker's translator crackled with static. "Your species wages war upon itself. You poison your own world. You are children playing with fusion fire." "We learn from our mistakes," Marcus replied, keeping his voice steady. "That's what makes us valuable partners. We've overcome division, environmental crisis, and our own violent nature. We can help others do the same. Every great bond starts with a single moment of courage. Cosmic Whispers is just beginning, and your support matters. If you love emotional sci-fi tales, forbidden connections, and stories that stay with you, hit subscribe. It's free, and it helps us bring more stories from the stars to you." The chamber fell silent. Marcus felt the weight of countless alien gazes, some curious, others hostile. The Council Prime leaned forward, studying the human ambassador with eyes that held the wisdom of millennia. "Your passion is noted," the Prime said finally. "However, the Dominion Alliance raises valid concerns. Perhaps humanity requires more time to—" The explosion shattered the diplomatic calm like thunder through silk. Marcus felt heat wash over him as debris rained from above. Emergency klaxons wailed as atmosphere rushed toward a breach in the station's hull. Through the chaos, he saw Tom's body crumpled against a twisted beam, life already fading from his eyes. Dominion soldiers poured through the breach, their weapons already firing. Marcus dove behind an overturned table, his mind racing. This wasn't random violence, it was an assassination, planned and executed with military precision. "The human dies here," one soldier shouted, his translator making the alien words sound like grinding metal. "No membership, no alliance." Marcus reached for his emergency beacon, the device that would signal Earth of his fate. As energy bolts seared the air around him, he pressed the activation stud. Whatever happened next, humanity would know the truth. The last thing Marcus Webb saw was the Council Prime's expression, not surprise, but calculated satisfaction. The assassination hadn't been prevented, because it hadn't been meant to be prevented. As darkness claimed him, Marcus understood with crystal clarity that humanity had just been tested, judged, and condemned. But they had made one crucial error. They had left humanity alive to respond. The emergency session of Earth's Global Defense Council convened 16 hours after Marcus Webb's beacon fell silent. In the underground command center beneath Geneva, holographic displays painted the war room in shades of blue and amber. President Elena Rivera stood at the head of the table, her face carved from granite as she surveyed the assembled military leaders. "Confirmed?" she asked, though everyone already knew the answer. Admiral Kane, his weathered face bearing the scars of the asteroid wars, nodded grimly. "Our deep space monitors detected the explosion. Harmony Station's diplomatic sections were completely destroyed. No survivors among the human delegation. General Hayes slammed his fist against the table. They murdered our people during a peace negotiation. This is an act of war. Against whom? Asked Dr. Sarah Chun, the council's xenobiologist. We don't know which faction. The Dominion Alliance, interrupted Commander Lisa Park, head of Earth Intelligence. Our sources confirmed it 3 hours ago. They planned this assassination to prevent human membership in the Galactic Council. They view us as a threat to their expansion plans. President Rivera walked to the massive tactical display dominating the room's center. Earth hung there in miniature, surrounded by the positioning of humanity's defensive fleets. Beyond the solar system's edge lay the unknown hundreds of alien civilizations, most of them now potential enemies. Admiral Kane, Rivera said quietly, what are our capabilities? Kane straightened, his military bearing returning. We've reverse-engineered captured alien technology from the first contact incidents. Our new fusion plasma drives can match most alien vessels. Our targeting systems are actually superior human reflexes and tactical thinking. Give us advantages they don't expect. How many ships? 200 fully equipped warships, 800 support vessels, and our new Prometheus-class dreadnoughts. 3 of them, but they're untested in real combat. Dr. Chun leaned forward, concern etching her features. We're talking about war with civilizations that have existed for thousands of years. They have resources we can't imagine. They also have something we don't, General Hayes replied. Complacency. They've been the apex predators for so long, they've forgotten what it means to fight for survival. Admiral Kane activated a tactical projection showing the known alien territories. The Dominion Alliance controls 12 systems, but they're spread thin, maintaining order. If we strike fast and hard at their key installations, we can cripple their ability to coordinate retaliation. And the other alien species, Rivera asked, most are neutral. Some actually oppose the Dominion's expansion policies. If we demonstrate that we're not indiscriminate killers, we might gain allies. Commander Park pulled up intelligence files on the station's security footage. The assassination was broadcast live to the entire Galactic Council. They wanted to make an example of humanity, show that we're weak and expendable. President Rivera studied the faces around the table. Military leaders who had defended Earth against asteroid miners and corporate wars. Scientists who had unlocked the secrets of faster-than-light travel. Intelligence officers who had mapped alien territories through captured data. Each one carried the weight of humanity's future. They killed Marcus to send a message, Rivera said finally. Time to send one back. She turned to Admiral Kane. Full mobilization. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier humanity can muster. But this isn't about revenge, it's about survival. If we don't show them that killing humans has consequences, they'll hunt us to extinction. Kane nodded, understanding the implications. Rules of engagement? Rivera's expression hardened. The Dominion Alliance chose to make this a war. We'll give them exactly what they asked for. Total warfare, no quarter given. As the Council dispersed to prepare for humanity's first interstellar war, none of them realized they were about to unleash something the galaxy had never seen. A species that had evolved not just to survive, but to win at any cost. The human fleet materialized at the edge of the Kepler system like ghosts condensing from starlight. 212 vessels hung in perfect formation, their dark hulls absorbing the distant star's radiation rather than reflecting it. Admiral Kane stood on the bridge of the U.S. Retribution, watching the tactical displays update with enemy positions. Dominion outpost detected, reported Lieutenant Commander Torres from the sensor station. Fortress-class installation, roughly 50,000 personnel. Defensive grid includes plasma cannons and shield generators. Kane studied the tactical readout. The Dominion had built their outpost to withstand conventional siege warfare, massive shields, overlapping fire zones, and enough supplies to last for years. It was a fortress designed by beings who understood military doctrine, but had never faced human ingenuity. Captain Reed, Kane spoke into his comm unit, deploy the Ghost Squadrons. Across the fleet, launch bays opened to release humanity's latest innovation. Stealth fighters equipped with adaptive camouflage and neural-linked piloting systems. Each craft was barely larger than an atmospheric fighter, but packed enough firepower to cripple a cruiser. More importantly, they were completely invisible to Dominion sensors. "Admiral," came Reed's voice. "Ghost Leader reports ready for insertion. Execute Operation Prometheus." The stealth fighters vanished from human sensors. As well, their adaptive hulls mimicking the background radiation of space itself. Kane had learned this technique from studying cuttlefish creatures that could become invisible by perfectly matching their environment. Human engineers had simply scaled up the concept and added quantum processors on the Fortress's command. Deck Dominion Commander Vex studied routine patrol reports, unaware that death was already inside his shields. The Fortress's sensors showed empty space where 12 human fighters now maneuvered toward critical systems. Multiple detonations within the shield grid. A Dominion technician screamed as explosions rippled across the installation's defensive network. The stealth fighters had done their work perfectly, placing shaped charges at precisely calculated points. As the shields flickered and died, King smiled grimly. Phase 1 complete. All ships, commence bombardment. Target their communications. Array first. The human fleet opened fire with weapons that defied galactic conventions. Instead of energy beams or plasma bolts, they launched kinetic rounds, simple tungsten rods, accelerated to significant fractions of light speed. The physics were elementary, but the effect was devastating. Each projectile carried the energy of a nuclear weapon without the radiation signature. Dominion return fire splashed harmlessly against human shields, another innovation borrowed from nature. Human defensive systems didn't try to stop incoming energy. They dispersed it, channeling destructive force around the ship's hull like water flowing around a stone. "Their fortress is requesting reinforcements," Torres reported. "Standard distress protocols. Let them," Kane replied. "Captain Martinez, deploy the hunters." A dozen modified human cruisers broke formation, their hulls reconfigured for speed rather than armor. Each ship carried a crew of volunteers who had trained for suicide missions, but these hunters weren't meant to die. They were meant to follow the Dominion reinforcements back to their staging areas. Within hours, the Kepler Fortress was nothing but expanding debris. But more importantly, the hunters had located 3 more Dominion installations, mapping supply routes and communication. Networks that had taken the alien centuries to establish. "Admiral," came a transmission from the UES Vengeance. "We're receiving surrender offers from 2 Dominion colonies. They're requesting terms." Kane considered this development. Human psychological warfare was already working news of the fortresses. Destruction had spread faster than Dominion Command could control. Fear was humanity's most potent weapon, and they were wielding it with surgical precision. "Accept their surrender, but station occupation forces. Anyone who harbored Dominion military assets will be relocated to supervised worlds. Anyone who can prove they opposed the assassination gets full autonomy." This was the message Kane wanted to send throughout the galaxy. Humanity could show mercy, but only to those who deserved it. The Dominion Alliance had chosen to make humans their enemies. Now they would learn why that had been a fatal mistake. As the fleet prepared to jump to their next target, Kane studied the tactical projections. 17 more Dominion installations within striking range, each one a stepping stone toward the Alliance's core worlds. They had killed Earth's ambassador to send a message. Humanity's response would be written in the wreckage of worlds. The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened in chaos. Representatives from 47 species gathered in the Great Chamber aboard Nexus Prime, their various forms of communication creating a cacophony that overwhelmed the translation systems. At the center of the maelstrom, Council Prime struggled to maintain order as reports flooded in from across Dominion space. 7 installations destroyed in 12 standard days, announced the crystalline collective speaker, their faceted form refracting the chamber's lights into nervous patterns. "The humans fight with weapons we have never encountered." Prime Counselor Vex of the Viridian Assembly rose to his full 3-meter height. "They are primitives. How can a species that has barely achieved interstellar flight defeat the Dominion Alliance?" The answer came from an unexpected source. Commander Zale, the sole survivor of the Kepler Fortress, materialized as a holographic projection. His scaled hide bore burn scars, and one of his 4 arms hung useless at his side. "They are not primitives," Zale said, his voice carrying the weight of hard-won wisdom. "They are something worse. They are innovators." The chamber fell silent. Innovation was respected among galactic civilizations, but also feared. Most species had reached technological plateaus millennia ago, refining existing concepts rather than creating new ones. True innovation was rare and dangerous. "Explain," demanded Council Prime. Zale's image flickered as damaged communication systems struggled to maintain the connection. "Their weapons are simple metal rods accelerated to high velocity. Basic physics, but applied with perfect precision. Their defenses don't stop our weapons. They redirect the energy, making our most powerful attacks harmless." "Adaptation," whispered Dr. Keth, the Council's chief strategist. "They study their enemies and develop counters instead of relying on superior firepower. There's more," Zale continued. "They offer mercy to those who surrender, but only after demonstrating absolute dominance. Psychological warfare combined with overwhelming force. They're not just conquering territory, they're breaking the will to resist." A new voice joined the discussion as Admiral Yex of the Dominion Fleet Command appeared via quantum relay. "They've taken 11 systems in 2 weeks. Not through prolonged siege, but through surgical strikes that cripple our ability to coordinate defense. And they're learning our communication protocols, adapting our own technology against us." Council Prime accessed tactical reports from across Dominion space. The pattern was unmistakable. Human forces struck at communication hubs, supply depots, and command centers while avoiding civilian populations. When resistance collapsed, they offered reasonable terms to non-combatants while relocating military personnel to prison worlds. But the most disturbing reports came from occupied territories. Human administrators were implementing infrastructure improvements, establishing trade relationships, and offering technological exchanges. Conquered populations weren't being oppressed, they were being recruited. "Species loyalty is breaking down," reported Intelligence Director Nex. 4 former Dominion worlds have requested to join the human coalition. They're offering resources, shipyards, and personnel to support the human war effort. The implications struck the chamber like a physical blow. Humans weren't just winning through superior tactics, they were winning hearts and minds. After centuries of Dominion oppression, liberated worlds saw human occupation as genuine freedom. Dr. Keth activated a holographic display showing troop movements across the sector. They're not expanding randomly. Every target serves a strategic purpose, cutting supply lines, isolating Dominion core worlds, and positioning forces for a coordinated final assault. "How long before they reach the Alliance capital?" asked Prime. "At their current rate of advance, 6 weeks. But Admiral Kane isn't rushing toward the capital. He's methodically dismantling the Alliance's ability to function as a military organization." Council Prime studied the tactical projections with growing unease. Humanity had entered the galactic stage as supplicants seeking membership in their ancient alliance. Now, less than a month later, they were reshaping the balance of power through pure force of will. Options? Prime asked the assembly. The chamber erupted in debate. Some species demanded immediate military intervention to stop human expansion. Others argued for diplomatic contact, hoping to negotiate before humanity turned their attention to new targets. A few quietly suggested that perhaps the Dominion Alliance had finally met their match, but beneath the political maneuvering, a darker truth was emerging. The galaxy's established powers had grown comfortable with their positions, relying on overwhelming numerical superiority and technological advantage. Humanity brought something that couldn't be countered through conventional means: the absolute refusal to accept defeat. As the council session stretched into its 6th hour, reports arrived of human fleets massing near Dominion Prime, the Alliance capital. Whatever debate was happening in the chamber would soon become irrelevant. The age of human expansion had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The final battle for Dominion Prime began not with a massive fleet engagement, but with a single transmission broadcast across every communication channel in the galaxy. Admiral Kane's image appeared on viewscreens from the core worlds to the outer rim, his weathered face carrying the authority of humanity's unstoppable advance. "Citizens of the galaxy," Kane began, his words simultaneously translated into 412 languages. 3 weeks ago, the Dominion Alliance murdered Earth's ambassador during peace negotiations. They believed humanity would accept this insult and retreat to our small corner of space. Behind Kane, the tactical display showed human fleets positioned around every major Dominion stronghold. 200 ships had become 2,000 as liberated worlds contributed their own vessels to humanity's cause. They were wrong, Kane continued. Humanity does not surrender. We do not retreat. And we do not forgive those who mistake our desire for peace as weakness. On Dominion Prime, Emergency Chancellor Vorth watched the transmission from his bunker, deep beneath the planet's capital. Around him, his remaining military advisors studied defensive preparations that looked increasingly inadequate. Humanity's psychological warfare was already working half. The Dominion fleet had defected or simply vanished rather than face human forces. But this war was never about revenge. Kane's voice echoed across the galaxy. It was about establishing a simple principle. Every species has the right to exist peacefully among the stars. The Dominion Alliance chose oppression over cooperation. Today, we offer the galaxy a different path. Kane paused, allowing his words to sink in across 1,000 worlds. To those who fought beside the Dominion through loyalty or fear, surrender now and receive full pardons. To those who supported the Alliance's expansion through greed or ambition, prepare to face justice. And to those who ordered the murder of our ambassador. The image shifted to show the human fleet surrounding Dominion Prime. Ships that had seemed impossibly advanced just weeks ago now looked primitive compared to humanity's latest innovations. Vessels that bent space around them, weapons that could strike across impossible distances, and shields that seemed to violate the fundamental laws of physics. Your time is over. Chancellor Vorth cut the transmission and turned to his staff. Fleet status? 14 ships remaining operational, reported Admiral Kex, his voice barely above a whisper. The humans have us completely surrounded. Our orbital defenses are offline, and our communication networks are compromised. Terms? None offered to the leadership. Complete surrender of all military assets, war crimes tribunals for senior commanders, and dissolution of the Alliance government. Vorth stared at the tactical display showing the impossible. A species that had begged for membership in the galactic community was now dictating terms to one of its most powerful alliances. Human forces hadn't just won through superior tactics, they had fundamentally changed the nature of interstellar warfare. Sir, interrupted Communications Officer Thale, we're receiving a direct transmission from the human flagship. Kane's image reappeared, this time addressing the Dominion leadership directly. Chancellor Vorth, you have 1 hour to surrender unconditionally. After that, we will demonstrate why humanity has never lost a war. The transmission ended, leaving the bunker in silence. Outside, human ships hung in orbit like mechanical gods, their weapons trained on the planet below. But no shots were fired. The threat alone was enough. 63 minutes later, Chancellor Vorth transmitted the Dominion Alliance's complete surrender. The aftermath reshaped galactic civilization. Human-led tribunals prosecuted war criminals with scrupulous fairness, offering rehabilitation instead of execution to those who showed genuine remorse. Liberated worlds received immediate aid and technical assistance, while former Dominion territories were granted self-governance under human protection. But the most significant change was the establishment of the Terran Commonwealth, a voluntary alliance of species committed to mutual defense and peaceful expansion. Unlike previous galactic governments, membership required only 2 things: respect for individual sapient rights and the absolute prohibition of wars of conquest. Within a year, 83 species had requested membership. The age of galactic empires built on oppression was ending, replaced by something humanity had always excelled at: building coalitions through shared purpose rather than shared fear. Admiral Kane stood once again on an observation deck, this time aboard Unity Station, humanity's gift to the galaxy. Through the viewports, ships from dozens of species moved in peaceful commerce, their crews working together to build something unprecedented in galactic history, a civilization based on cooperation rather than domination. Ambassador Marcus Webb had died seeking humanity's place among the stars. His sacrifice had given them something far greater, the chance to reshape those stars themselves. The galaxy had killed Earth's ambassador. In response, humanity had given them peace, prosperity, and hope for a future where such murders would be impossible. It was, Kane reflected, a very human way to win a war.